Hello guys, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Welcome back to the channel. And here we are with another POCHER release. It is Wednesday, it is the 29th of January 2025. And at midday today, over on their website, they announced their new kit, which is forthcoming. So you can probably guess by now what it is. If we mix this and this with that, what do we get? Let's roll that camera and then come back and talk about it. Beautiful, huh? Absolutely gorgeous. 1971 Le Mans winning car, number 22, as you can clearly see in that video. Driven by It's G-I-J-S, Guy Van Lennep and Dr. Helmut Marko. And yeah, what a race. And there's a lot you can find on the internet. I'll just read you a couple of quotes from Van Lennep. You knew that it was a dangerous racing car because your feet were in front of the axle, and there wasn't much else there. All there was some tubes. More about that in a second. You didn't want to hit anything, but I never had that type of accident, so I can't tell you about it. But the 917 was fantastic. There were no big changes during my time. The biggest happened between 69 and 70. I loved it, but I was young, lots of car control. The rear axle was welded up, and you could steer on the throttle like a go-kart. You had to brake hard, exert a lot of pressure, and the steering was quite heavy. After 40 laps at the Norris ring, say, you were knackered, but Le Mans had long straights and was not so tiring. There was a bump before the kink, so even if you were asleep, you knew you had to steer right. That was at the end of the Mulsanne straight. So yeah, absolutely amazing. Here we go. During this race, with 5 hours to go, our brake disc began cracking. This is because they had the drilled holes. This is when they started using the drilled holes. That was the first time we had holes in them. They were cracking around the outside. If we stopped to change them, we couldn't win. So we decided not to brake anymore, or do less of it at least. At the finish, I took the drilled ignition key out. They even drilled the ignition keys in these 917s. They were absolutely obsessed with lightness. More about that in a minute. And that was the end of it for that car. It's in the museum now. You can't drive it, only push it. It's too thin, too light. It had a gear knob made of balsa wood. Whatever it took, we wanted to win. Now, something very special about this car that I don't think a lot of people know, and I'm not going to say it's absolutely 100% gospel, but I don't know why it's written in a few places if it wouldn't be. But apparently they were secretly messing around with magnesium. Now, as you know, the chassis in this car, the frame, the space frame, was made of aluminum, and all different thicknesses and different diameters of tubing. It used to carry oil. In the end, it was the whole thing. They drilled every weld, they drilled into the tube. So if you had a tube here and you welded a tube there, you drilled into that tube, and then the whole thing became one big kind of air tank, if you like. And they would inject it with nitrogen or whatever gas they used, and then they could check the pressure. And obviously, if it had no pressure, there was a crack, and that was how they used to keep an eye. They do very similar things with helicopter blades. So that was how they kept a check on the cracks. But apparently, this chassis in this car, this space frame, was made of magnesium, and it was 40 kilograms lighter. Now, to get the car back to the minimum weight, what they did, they added more oil. They put a bigger oil tank in. But of course, more oil meant better cooling for the air-cooled engine, because the oil was part of the cooling. They call these engines air-cooled. They're oil air-cooled, and they're all dry sump. So, of course, having 40 kilograms extra of oil, which extra 40 litres, which was wonderful to aid the cooling. But also, you could put that oil where you wanted to, rather than have the weight wherever it was. So that weight was sort of in the middle of the car, so your polar moment of inertia was reduced. So Yeah, absolutely amazing. It actually took the lap record at that race, and that record remained for 40 years, and was finally done in 2010, but only broken once. But to be fair, it's not really. That's one of those statistics that you kind of go, "Blimey, that's amazing." But it was after 71 that they started to put some curves in and change the circuit. So it's not really a fair statistic, if you like. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the model and talk about well, let's talk about some of the differences between it and this one, and you'll get to see it because POCHER have assured me they're going to be sending me one, and I'm going to build it on the channel, and I'm going to try and build it out of the box. Do you reckon I can do it? I don't think so. We shall see. Anyway, let's get to some shots and talk about what it looks like. All right, so here you can see the model from its sort of front left corner, and we can see that it's got the beautiful Martini livery. Obviously, if you're going to get this kit, all that is pre-painted. The number 22 decal on the front, you may have to put on yourself because it goes across the bonnet and the actual bodywork. Maybe the same with the Martini Racing Team one there. Certainly with the golf car, any decal that crosses a parting line, they've actually got us to put them on ourselves. But you can see those beautiful Martini stripes coming out of the knacker at the back, and the number 22 there. And then you've got the little flaps on the back of the short tail and the little fins. A lot of people are asking, why haven't they done a finless one when I've been building the Golf one? I'm sure that will come at some point. But I'm guessing they're going to get the most out of this tooling before they modify it to get rid of those fins. They may do a long tail as well, who knows. But I can imagine that basically the basic kit will be, plastic and metal wise, the basic kit will be the same with colour differences and stuff. But you can see there it's absolutely gorgeous. It's got the same stripes on the wheels as the Golf car had. I've been looking around at images of this car, and it looks like the rear wheels didn't have those stripes, but they've actually added them on here, as you can see there from the side. We've got the big electrical contact on the side there. And we've got the Bosch, Firestone and Bilstein sponsors decals. We've got the Sibi and the Shell, unlike Tamiya, which have removed all that from their models now. But POCHER have decided to pay the licenses and keep it all going. I'm surprised to see we don't have any drivers' names on the side of the car. I'm not sure if they had them in real life or not, but and I don't know why, but they've got forward arrows on the top of the wheel arches. I guess that shows which way the wheel goes, yeah? As if you didn't know. And then here we've got the rear left on, and it's looking absolutely stunning. And as you can see, one major difference here straight away, if you're familiar with the Golf car, the frame on this, the chassis, or you could call it a shame, I guess, is silver, or aluminium or whatever, because it was magnesium apparently. And you can see there we've got the catch sack there on the side, got the spare wheel sticking out the back, and you could also just see there underneath the Martini Racing, just above the lights there, you can see that luggage rack. Yes, that is a luggage rack. That's also in the fiberglass colour on this car, whereas on the other car they were painted in black. Do your research and have a check, because I think model manufacturers get their stuff from restored cars. Although I do believe this car is in a museum unrestored. I thought it was this car, but I'm now maybe thinking it's the number 23 car that's in the museum, which was a silver painted car. There we can see beautiful front on shot, looking absolutely stunning. We can see those light covers with the little rivets holding them in and everything. Very, very beautiful model, very beautiful indeed. And that will look absolutely stunning on the shelf. Also worth noting when you look at these shots, how all the panels fit. A lot of these times when you get these gull wing doors and big front clamshells and everything, you see some fit issues, but not with this one. And here you can see on that back shot, again, we got that silver frame, beautiful exhausts on there, really, really nice, beautiful looking car, and cannot wait to get my hands on one. So there we go. What do you think? I absolutely love it. I love Martini cars. I got this when I got my when I had my own Porsche. It's the genuine item. You can see on the back there it says Porsche, and yeah, unfortunately it's got 20 on the side, not 22. But anyway, yeah, so can't wait to get my hands on that one. I love all my Martini Racing Lancias as well, so and I've got a big kit to show you on that one as well coming your way. So there we go. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I know Royce from Royce, I'm sure it's Royce, over at Pedal to Metal. He'll be glad, because I know he's been talking about getting the POCHER kit, and I think this is what he wanted, was the 1971 Le Mans winning car. So I think he'll be quite pleased that this was coming along. I know he does like the POCHER kit very, very much. So anyway, stay tuned. Keep up to date. I mean, I put a video, I try and put a video every Saturday, 8 PM with this one. Things have been a little slow because I've been repainting stuff and everything, but now we should start really getting going. We had a little fast spell, and then we got held up with waiting for glue to dry and stuff like that. So the engine's looking absolutely stunning. If you haven't seen it already, go take a look. It's a beautiful, beautiful model of an absolutely beautiful, iconic sports car. And if some of you don't know, the number 20 car, the Golf car, which Steve McQueen had for the film Le Mans, has just sold down at Kissimmee in auction in Florida, and it went for $25 million. So there you go. That's people with money, isn't it, for you? So this one's quite cheap, really. It's also worth bearing in mind, if you saw my review of the Pagani instructions, which is imminent, that's due very, very soon, you'll be seeing that on my bench. POCHER have now moved to a 3D CAD style instructions rather than the old, black and white, which is very, very nice. And that's the way they're going now with all their kits going forward. They also have parts call-outs as well, so you can check your kit and check nothing's missing before you get stuck into it. So that's something else they've done, which is something I and a lot of other people have requested. So they've also asked, they've said, if you want to put input in, please let us know. So I've sent them a sheet, a spreadsheet with all sorts of suggestions on these kits, and I think they're taking them all on board. So we shall see. But anyway, stay tuned. As I say, that beautiful Martini Porsche will be here. You can see this one now, and the Pagani's on its way. And if you like Lamborghinis, go and have a look. I've already built the Lamborghini bit by bit on there. What I do, I don't just build them out of the box. I tend to modify bits and pieces if I need to, repaint stuff. Like for instance, with this model, the massive air intakes that cool the transmission at the back. I don't like seeing the seam lines around them, so I basically glue them together, deal with all the seam lines, and then repaint them. So there you go. Anyway, I've waffled enough. I will see you all soon. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.